All right, this month sucked.
All right, we're just gonna barge straight in like that, huh?
We're just gonna rip the band-aid off the month that is October 2003 because I think it's interesting to talk about as a whole that this month was boring as shit.
Yeah, not the most explosive month.
It's not even just oh, this angle is terrible. It's not even that this story sucks. It's not even oh, they're pushing the wrong people. It's none of that. It's just this company in the month of October feels lifeless.
It's incredibly dull.
There's just no energy. The crowds are absolutely dead. It feels like all the programs have overstayed their welcome because most of them are just holdovers from the month prior. It feels like nothing new or interesting is happening. The entire month is built around Hulk Hogan and nothing comes of it, which we'll talk about extensively. So it just feels like a lost month in TNA history with a bunch of matches that, some of which are good. Especially as the month goes on, there are more good matches. I think the first two shows of the month in particular are just absolutely lifeless muck that will put you to sleep. But then it's just a month that exists and has literally nothing that I think anybody will remember about. What are you gonna? Maybe the AJ Dusty match. Maybe that's a thing people are oh, AJ Dusty was a cool match just on paper, even though the match itself wasn't great. But other than that, there's literally nothing from this month that I think I will ever think about again once we hit end record on this podcast.
The most notable thing of this month was something that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And honestly, the most memorable thing of this month is probably the thing that happened in the last 30 seconds of the last show of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just... I hesitate to call it, for some reason, I hesitate to call it even bad. I just don't think anything happened. It was just dull. It was a very boring show. I don't even think there was anything that I was like, oh, this is bad. I don't think there was any angles that I was like, oh gosh, not this sucks. Well, I think it was just nothing to latch onto, nothing to care about. Yeah, just a real boring month. I remember that first show. I watched an hour of it, and it took me 3 hours to watch that hour because I just had to pause it and do something else because I was like, this is so dull. I for those first two episodes, I think I drank 2 beers an episode because I was just like, come on, this is so boring.
You need something to get it through, make it a little more palatable.
Yeah, I had to get in the spirit of the Nashville, of the Asylum watchers. I had to drink some beers to get through the show. The last two shows, though, I didn't mind as much. It was just those first two were so bad. And that third one wasn't great either, to be honest. But if the last two shows were the bad shows of a month, you'd probably had a pretty good month. But they were the best shows of the month.
Yeah, and this is a 5-show month, which maybe didn't help, because there was 5 shows of nothing happening.
I hate it so much.
Well, you'll be pleased to know that November is a 4-show month, and December would have been a 5-show month, but the last 2 episodes are best of, so it's only a 3-show month.
Merry Christmas.
That's your Christmas present, that you only have 3 shows for December to cover, unless you want to watch the best ofs.
And no. I mean, to be honest, how long can those best ofs be? How many 3-star Jerry Lynn matches can you put on there?
Well, not that many this month. There's only one of them.
Yeah, is Jerry gone?
Well, it's the Don Callis stuff, which is, you say there's nothing on the show that you don't like. I'm tired of the Don Callis and Red Shirt stuff. I would like them to go away, but they're not going to, so I will just have to stomach that.
I don't mind the Don Callis stuff. I was kind of sick of the Red Shirt matches by the end of it, but I didn't mind the actual Don Callis angles. He had a cool bow tie now.
He does. He's looking very dapper.
He cut the hair though, which I don't appreciate.
Big change for Don this month.
Big change. He looks like a child now.
He does. He has this childlike glee expression, particularly when we'll talk about the world title change this month. By the way, this month had a world title change.
He also, yeah, well, I think he literally has rosy cheeks. Like that, he's straight up what's that creepy puppet? Remember that one?
The one from Goosebumps?
Sure. I think any puppet could have filled the void that I was putting out there, to be honest, except for Puppet the Psycho Dwarf.
Chucky?
Yeah, sure. He looks like Chucky.
Kermit the Frog.
It's a Muppet. It's different.
Muppets are also puppets, but not all puppets are Muppets.
You're a Muppet.
Am I a man, or am I a Muppet?
No, we'll get DMCA'd.
I
guess we should talk about Arthur.
Oh, Arthur did come to an end. Yeah, it's very important. It is the theme song to our old podcast and the theme song to the Monday War Game series, which you can listen to at patreon.com/kiddingme or
Two of our old podcasts were Arthur inspired.
Yeah, so Arthur has come to an end. Arthur is like a millennial washout based on his appearance, so
Yeah, he's a graphic novel artist.
he's clearly the guy who's like, no, Mom, I'm a graphic novel artist. It's like, Arthur, you've got to get yourself a job. You've sold none of those graphic novels.
Arthur, get a real job like your sister.
Who's a traffic cop. Of course she is.
So that was definitely like, they wanted to make her a cop, but they didn't feel like they could get away with making her like a cop, so they made her a traffic cop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like this was their cop out of like, oh, we want to make
Cop
her a
out.
cop, but yeah. Like, we want to make her a cop, but it's 2022 and that won't go down well.
Yeah.
So we'll make her a traffic cop.
Are you actually a fan of Arthur?
Yeah, obviously.
Because I don't think I would have watched a ton of Arthur growing up. I would have watched little bits and pieces of Arthur, but not a ton.
I watched a fair bit of Arthur growing up.
Yeah, Arthur has come to an end. Rip Arthur, after 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, longer than 25 years. It was 25
You know, it's
seasons.
the second piece of Arthur news we've broken on the show.
Well, I don't think we've broken it. It happened like 2 days ago, but sure.
But you know what I mean? It was the second piece of Arthur news that we talked about as it happened.
What's the other one?
When they made the teacher gay.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Arthur.
We talked about the outrage
Yeah, go fuck yourselves, people.
from the Arthur community.
I don't think it was from the Arthur community, frankly.
It's from people who have never seen a single episode of Arthur in their life.
It's like the Noah fans mad at me.
Except you're the one who's never seen a day of Noah in his life.
Yeah. Hey, I watched some of the January 1st show. You leave me alone.
You watched it because they made you.
You bullied me into watching a Noah.
I did. See, I tried, guys.
See, Liam brought it back to Puro. He can't help himself. It's like he wanted to talk about Arthur and then had to misdirect back to Puro.
Yeah, just let me talk about Bureau. For the love of God, someone.
But to go back to TNA, like, we had July was a pretty flat month, but it was flat for like an understandable reason, where they did that pivot from the kind of wrestling they were doing to a more babyface heel standard traditional pro wrestling in July. So you're like, all right, we'll give you the month to kind of work that out. And then we had like 2, I think, pretty darn good months in September and August. And now we're just here, and I don't know what happened. They just ran out of steam. They ran out of life. There is just nothing going on. And we do have new booker / agent Dutch Mantel, so obviously it's all Dutch's fault.
I think it probably just came from, we had a very distinct plan, and we had to get to this plan very quickly, and then the plan fell through. So it's like, we were in a rush mode to get to this, and then we didn't even get the payoff to this, so it's just a very weird, kind of tumultuous middle ground month.